Good evening. I came out to the food forest because I forgot my clippers out here. And I've got a swallowtail butterfly in here. And he's just kind of flying around. So many of the flowers that I planted this year was in hopes of attracting the swallowtail butterflies. And here he is. My name is Ruth, and this is Faye Hollow Homestead. I have not been posting recently just because things got crazy hectic. And then Jeremy and I had our 12-year anniversary, and that was really exciting. And so I just kind of took off a little bit. And then also, we got the goats. Now, that took up the entire day. There's a whole long story that goes with that, and so I will be posting that video very shortly. But also I've been working with and editing another video and spending a lot of time with it, and then just deleting all the work, and then trying it again, and then just deleting all the work. And I've really struggled with whether or not to post this video, and so who knows if it will ever get out there. But there is this one video that I am working on, and it's not anything really super special. It's very personal. And it's a little bit scary to put super personal stuff out here. So, you know, it is the internet. Anyway, today though, I needed to get my clippers because I am going to be giving my garden a haircut outside of the house. With all the lavender and everything like that, because it's time. The pollinators have finished really doing their thing with it. I wanted to leave the blooms on as long as possible so that the bees and the butterflies could really get some good food out of it, but they have started to neglect it, and that's my cue that they're done, and it's time for me to prune back the lavender as well as a bunch of the other herbs in this garden. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, and I'll show you a little bit about how I do it. So here's my lavender bed, and I took away the fence that was on this side. Apparently I missed one of the fence posts, but I needed that chicken wire for something else, and it was really just fear that was keeping it on here for me, because I was just afraid of chickens getting in here and dogs getting in here and messing with my lavender. So the lavender, if you can see, these are mostly dead blooms on it. I mean, there's a few here and there that have a flower, but other than like the odd one out, it's mostly done. So in order to keep this lavender super healthy, I gotta cut it back. And if you see, all the dense foliage is down here. What I want is for the dense foliage to come all the way out. And every year that this grows, it's going to do that. If I trim it back, it'll look like this the whole way up. If I don't trim it back, it will look like this, but only on the outer edge. And there will be a bunch of dead looking twigs, just brown on the inside. And it's actually going to shorten the lifespan of the lavender dramatically. So what I want to do is I want to cut it back dramatically now so that I can have lavender for years. So lavender is my favorite. All of them are my favorite, but it's been a dream of mine, and actually my husband's as well, to have a lavender garden for many, many years, since before our kids were born. So I'm going to make sure that this is taken care of really well. And I want this lavender to last for 15 to 20 years rather than 5 years like it would if I just didn't do anything to it at all.
You make sure he doesn't fall.
Yes. And you can't miss my husband anywhere he drives. He's so handsome. Okay, so back to trimming of the lavender. So when you trim the lavender, if you do it the right way, it's going to end up being very dramatic, like I said, and it's going to seem wrong to do it so dramatically. But let me show you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to cut not so far that I'm going all the way in, because I'd have to literally go to like the very base of the plant in order to get to where the really woody stuff is. But I am going to do a dramatic cut. So let's say we've got this stem right here. I'm going to come all the way here and I'm going to cut that far. Now this might be the world's most relaxing job, pruning lavender. But do you see how far in I am? So the difference is, I mean, this stuff right here, all the way down to here. I mean, that's quite dramatic, I think. It hurts my heart a little bit to cut it back that much, but I know that it's just going to grow back fuller and bushier. There's just like when you prune anything, it just it gets stronger and healthier as long as you're pruning it correctly, right? So knowing that, I have an easier time doing it because I really want these lavender plants to do their best and I want them to survive for a very long time. So let me show you the finished product. Okay, so here we go. And these are all pretty stiff branches here. And the difference would be, let's say, this to that. And so this is just slightly wider than my hand, and this is probably twice my hand width. So I really cut it back about half the circumference. So this is the resulting pile, which is absolutely gorgeous still. And I'm excited to have this smell everywhere as I do this. So it's getting late and my hubby's over there with the fire with music. And I'm gonna join him. I'll finish this up tomorrow. But we did get one full road. So that's it. So here are my lavender plants now, and Edward. Is I have this wonderful thyme that I planted, and I wanted this to do more of a cascading effect, and so I'm going to cut this down more so that it can be more compact and will start draping a little bit more. This over here is doing a great job of doing the cascading effect. I mean, it's really just originating out of this one section right here. And so I cut this back earlier this year, and I mean, it's really looking beautifully, but you can see on the edges it's starting to get a little bit dried out, so I'm gonna trim that back as well. So some more thyme in the cracks. So this is gonna end up looking like needing a big haircut and getting a dramatic one. Let me just show you the lavender that I cut the other night. This is not all the lavender. This is just the bunches that I made. I'll probably get a couple more from what I just cut, and then there's a couple more piles down the road there, and hang them from here. But I have this rack that I bought this when Jeremy and I first got married, and I've been waiting to be able to hang lavender on it just like that. Now I know that this is beyond its prime. This is not, I'm not going to be using this for any medicinal purposes or culinary purposes. This is really just going to be hanging in our house for the aroma, because lavender is a very special herb to Jeremy and I. I have taken cuttings as well from some of the last plants that I trimmed back, just so that we can have some extra lavender on hand. Okay, so that was lavender that was, let's say like 2 years old. I planted that last year. But what if you have older lavender, or what if you have younger lavender? So let's go see what we're gonna do with that. Okay, so here I am. I'm on the lavender hill. We're gonna be putting wood shavings on all the pathways. You can see the cardboard's kind of curling up right there underneath just to keep back the weeds, but that'll go away soon. Now, this lavender we planted this spring. Do I need to prune lavender that I only just planted this year? And the answer is yes, definitely. And so I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna prune it by like half. So let me show you what I'm gonna do with this. Okay, so here's my lavender. And it's about a fist size, right? Almost a hand width. And I'm just gonna go around and this is just going to make the roots super strong, and it's going to make it very bushy, and that is a dramatic trimming for a brand new lavender bush, but that's okay. It's going to keep it healthier, and it's going to prolong the life of it. It's going to make the roots stronger, and it's going to make it more full and lush and more beautiful. So the benefits far outweigh the moment of cutting something that you only just planted that's kind of a baby plant that you want to baby for a little while. So that's what we're doing for these. And when I prune, I want to make sure that I'm trying to get into a rounded shape, just for aesthetics, so that when it fills in, it's got like this nice rounded shape all the way around, uniform. So there we go. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do that for all of them. And since I'm up here anyway, just thought I'd show you how excited and happy these bees are. We have been feeding them, well, Donna has. I haven't been messing with them too much. She's doing such a great job though, and they are very happy, and I mean, they're really going to town on this stuff. And this is gonna be something that we're doing pretty much just for this year to get them set up, because it was kind of late getting them in here. We did lose that first hive, so we're just trying to get them stockpiled with as much honey as we possibly can. And apparently what people say is that when they don't need as much of that, they will stop drinking from that and they will go find natural sources. But when they really need that extra boost of that that special syrup, they'll use it until they feel like they've got a good stockpile, and they can start harvesting from flowers exclusively. Okay, so this is a older lavender plant. I am not going to prune this one. This is my mother-in-law's one. I'm not gonna mess with it because, you know, it's for her to do as she wants to do with it. But I want to show you where I would prune it, and then also what I've heard about pruning and so on and so forth. So I have heard that when you prune older lavender plants that have this woody section on them, like right here, you want to cut to like right above where the wood is, where you can start seeing green stuff. But then I've also, from very legitimate lavender farms sources, I have heard that you can cut all the way down to the base basically, and let me show you why. So the wood really starts right here, right? There's some green, right? So you would cut right about here, right? But if you look down here, you can see there's little bits of green popping out. And so this is living wood down here. Otherwise, you know, how would this stuff be growing, right? So if you cut down here, I mean, even near the base, you can see there's green growing. So if I had a couple of really big lavender plants like this, I would probably do one of each. I would cut one right above where the green one is, and then I would take the other one and I would cut down real low, and then just kind of see how it's going. So that's what I would do. Either way, this is not mine, so I'm not going to do it. But up on the hill where the lavender hill is, let me show you what I did do. Okay, so on the baby lavender, on the lavender hill, the stuff that we planted this year, we had got some damage on some of the lavender plants because it's on this sandy soil, like very sandy soil. And when we would have torrential downpours, like you do in the summer and in the spring, the sand was coating the lavender plants. And so it was killing that area because the leaves were choking out. They were not getting any sun. So let me show you what I did. So the normal plants, when I prune them, look like this. These, the branch was dead looking, except for the very tip. But I cut all the way down to the base, and you can see there's life growing again. And so I didn't mind cutting past this dead branch area because I know it's going to rejuvenate again. And if it doesn't, that's okay. It's a seedling. I can try again. So many of them are doing well, but I'm willing to bet that these are going to do pretty good. Now this one, you can see, I mean, like really, and my mother-in-law, she went around and she put rocks around the base of these, so in hopes that it would prevent that from happening again. But I cut to the regular size that I would have with a healthy one. And some of them that I cut, I even cut all the green, and it's just this stick sticking up. So we'll see how that's gonna look, how it's gonna come back, what's gonna happen. So much sand. I mean, so if you want to know what the soil looked like in the garden before we started, this is it right here. Just sand. Okay, so that's what I'm doing with the lavender, and the way that I'm going to be trimming it and pruning it from here on out. I hope that helps some of you, because lavender's got to be one of the best things you can possibly grow. It's medicinal, it's food, it's pollinator power, it is gorgeous, it smells amazing, and when you have a whole lot of it in a row or staggered or in one area, I mean, it's breathtaking. It's absolutely breathtaking. So I would highly recommend lavender. Plus, I mean, it's a perennial. Who doesn't love perennials? Perennials are the best. Plant it once and there you go. I'm not a huge fan of planting things. I'm a fan of watching things grow. So perennials, they're my jam. Okay guys, so that's it for today. I hope you learned something. I hope that if I did anything, I encouraged you to grow some lavender, and that it is so easy and almost mistake proof to grow a gorgeous lavender hedge that will last forever, or just a lavender plant that will last forever. Pruning it is easy, and in the meantime, you also end up with wonderful things like this. So I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. Please hit that like button, the subscribe, the notification bell, all those wonderful things. I appreciate it so much, and you guys have a great night and stay blessed.